I'm Tanya Contos, and I'm delighted to be reading here tonight from my book, The Tide Clock and Other Poems, which is a collection that took shape after some catastrophic events that involved the ocean and people who are dear to me. But it's not a dark book. It's something that I think really speaks to the age-old feeling that the ocean is in many ways a great source of consolation, and some of the poems are actually fairly light, but the arc through the whole of it is the idea of how people pay a price one way or another for living at the ocean's edge. And it isn't so much a book about the ocean as about the people who live near it, and some of them are a little odd, some of them are wonderful, but I find all of them incredibly interesting. And so some of the book is portrait miniatures of people whom I have known and to whom I wanted to pay tribute in one way or another. So that was the seed of the idea. It's funny, I just saw something the other day that said that for an ocean person to live inland is like trying to waltz with an anchor, which I thought was a great soundbite. But I'm not that, I mean, I live in JP, but I have to say one of the things I love about JP is the pond. Seeing boats every day of my life is really important, whether I'm here or up on the ocean on Cape Ann. So I consider myself a JP and a Cape Ann person, but I'm really delighted to be reading here right now. Probably the greatest influence, and my favorite for the longest period of time, is the Russian poet Anna Akhmatova, who wrote at the beginning of the last century. And I was so blown away by her work in translation that it actually prompted me to major in Russian and theater, so that I could read her work in the original. And the wonderful late Jane Kenyon, American poet, did the only really good translations of Akhmatova's work in English. So it's out there and people can read her work, read credible translations. But what I love about her work is that it goes back to what Emily Dickinson said, that after great pain a formal feeling comes. It's very disciplined, very almost austere, but what she doesn't say is every bit as powerful as what she does. So trying to be that disciplined and still convey deep feeling is, to me, the real challenge of good poetry.
And what advice do you give to other writers who want to publish a book of poetry?
It's not easy, but I think the main thing is that a writer is someone who writes, and you simply cannot say, well, when the conditions are right or whatever. I mean, there's no question that I was unusually fortunate to find a publisher who wanted to take this on, but it's increasingly easy now with digital publishing to self-publish, and there's no stigma to that. There used to be. This book, it was, as I say, was accepted by a publisher, but there are many very good collections of poetry out there that people have published themselves, and as long as you're prepared to market your work and really see it through and be professional about it, there's no reason why you can't make that book happen all by yourself. So I would encourage people to do that. But it definitely helps to try to publish individual poems first so that you get feedback from periodicals. I wouldn't start with a collection. Many of the poems in this book were published individually before. So there are lots of approaches. There's no wrong way to do it, but the main thing is to do it.